Well, hello, friends. It's your pal Tom Picklefeather, here to tell you a story that's just for kids. Warning, not for children. Hey, everybody. It's your pal Tom Picklefeather with a fun story for you. Today's story is about how sometimes you get everything you want, like fame and fortune, but ego might ruin that for you. That's what happens to our friend in this story, Boogie Nights. Once upon a time, back in 1977, there was a boy named Eddie Adams, and he was a dishwasher. Well, he didn't always want to be a dishwasher. In fact, he wanted to be a performer, and everyone told him he should be a performer except his parents. His parents didn't really like that job, but it was just something he always dreamed of, and he would just perform the girls in his neighborhood, and sometimes some people would ask him to perform with himself for a little bit of money. One day, this movie director named Jack Horner came into his restaurant because he had heard all these amazing things about Eddie. And so he said, "Hey, Eddie, why don't you perform for me in one of my movies?" And Eddie was like, "Oh my goodness, that sounds wonderful." So Eddie started performing in Jack Horner's movies. And instead of going by Eddie, he decided he was going to change his name to Dirk Diggler, just because it sounded cooler. You know, some people do that. They'll change their name just to sound better. It's just something some folks, famous folks, do. Anyway, years go by, and Dirk, we're going to call him Dirk now, decided that, you know what, he just wanted more. He wasn't happy with what he had. He wanted to try and do, he was less grateful. Well, one day, Jack had found like a new performer, and Dirk was getting a little jealous. So he's like, "You know what? Since you got this performer, I'm going to go perform for other people." And they had a big fight, and so they parted ways. Well, Dirk tried to be a singer, but he was just wasn't as good. And he ended up losing a lot of his fame and his money. So he went back to performing for people, performing with himself in front of people for a little bit of money. However, some of those people were pretty mean, and they beat him up and bullied him. Eventually, he got over himself, and he went back to Jack and apologized, and they were friends again, and they were making fun movies together. So I guess the moral we can take away from this story is, you shouldn't let your ego lead you around. And sometimes you just got to be grateful for what you got, because you can always lose it. I think that's the takeaway from this. Anyway, till next time, just know I love you, and you take care of yourselves.